still remember the look on her face. That young, blonde manager pointing her manicured finger at me like I was dirt on her marble floor. "Security! Get that beggar out before she scares away our customers!" she screamed. I stood there quietly, my old coat clinging to me, a plastic bag in my trembling hands. The air conditioning was cold, but their laughter was colder. No one in that bank knew who I was. Not a single one. For them, I was just a 72-year-old homeless black woman who had wandered into the wrong place. But for me, it was the day I finally decided to test the world I had built with my own two hands. I wasn't there for money. I was there for truth. You see, after 50 years of building a financial empire from scratch, from a cleaning lady's daughter to the owner of First National Bank, I wanted to see if the people working for me still remembered the one promise engraved on every branch door, where every person is valued regardless of their background. But that promise was long forgotten. As I walked toward the counter, the young manager, Jessica, her name tag said, turned away as if I didn't exist. I whispered, "Please, I just need to withdraw some money." Her colleague Tyler, barely in his 20s, chuckled cruelly. "Withdraw? From where, lady? The trash can?" He laughed loud enough for everyone to hear. The echo bounced across the marble floors, mixing with the quiet snickers of customers pretending not to listen. Amanda, another employee, didn't even bother looking up. "Jess, call the police. These homeless people are getting bold." Their words cut deep. Not because I was poor, but because I had once built this bank to protect people like the one they thought I was. I watched every expression carefully, the disgust, the judgment, the laughter. Every detail burned into my memory. Finally, a hesitant security guard approached me. "Ma'am, please leave. This is a customer establishment." "I am a customer," I replied quietly. "I've had an account here for over 50 years. Jessica rolled her eyes. "Sure you have, ma'am. Now please leave before I make that call." And in that moment, something inside me broke. Not my pride, but my heart. I nodded slowly, looked around at the faces watching, and said calmly, "Very well. I'll handle this another way." As I walked out, their laughter followed me through the glass doors like a ghost. They thought they had won. But that day, they had just signed their own resignations. Outside, under the burning July sun, I took out my phone, the same phone that received messages from CEOs and presidents, and dialed a private number. "Marcus," I said, "bring the resignation papers. Fifth Avenue branch. Immediately." Across the street, I could see Jessica and her team still laughing inside, mimicking my hunched posture like it was some comedy show. I watched them, the same way a storm watches the sea before it strikes. They posted my humiliation online, stories, hashtags, even jokes. Security first, hardworking every post, every cruel laugh. Was being recorded. Marcus, my trusted advisor for 15 years, arrived minutes later. He asked gently, "Miss Washington, are you all right?" I smiled faintly. "Do you remember why we built this bank, Marcus?" He nodded. "To give everyone, especially the underprivileged, a fair chance." "Exactly," I whispered. "And now, I'm going to remind them of that lesson, in a way they'll never forget." Back inside the bank, Jessica called her regional manager, bragging about how she'd protected the bank from a homeless intruder. Her boss laughed with her. "You did the right thing, Jess. We can't have those types walking in." And in that one sentence, decades of my life's mission, equality, dignity, respect, came crashing down. That night, I didn't sleep. Not from anger, but from a rising fire inside me. At dawn, I sat by my window overlooking Manhattan and thought about every door that had once slammed in my face when I was young. Black and broke. I had built this empire so no one would ever feel that pain again. And now, my own people under my own roof had become the very monsters I once fought against. The next morning, Marcus walked into my office with a tablet in hand. "Miss Washington, the reports you asked for, they're here." He laid 3 files before me. Jessica Miller, Tyler Johnson, Amanda Foster. Each file was a confession wrapped in paper. Jessica had a secret chat group mocking poor and elderly clients. Tyler had posted cruel TikToks making fun of struggling seniors. Amanda had written essays about how some people just don't deserve to be rich. Every line was poison. Every post a betrayal. I didn't get angry. I got focused. "Marcus," I said, "hire investigators. Quietly. I want every detail. Their finances, their records, their secrets. Everything." He hesitated. "Miss Washington, what are you planning?" I looked out the window at the same city that once laughed at me and said, "I'm going to show them that mocking the wrong person can cost you everything." As he left the room, my phone buzzed with another cruel notification, Tyler's new TikTok. POV, when a homeless woman thinks she owns a bank. Reality check. Hundreds of laughing emojis. They had no idea how right he was about the owning a bank part. The next morning, I didn't dress like a victim. I dressed like a storm. My tailor had sent over my favorite charcoal suit, hand-stitched quiet power. I looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "Today, Violet, you remind them who you are." By noon, the sun was high above Fifth Avenue. The same bank that had thrown me out 2 days earlier was gleaming with glass and arrogance. But today, I wasn't walking in as a homeless intruder. I was walking in as the founder and majority shareholder of the entire corporation. The guards at the door straightened immediately when they saw the convoy of black cars and security details step out. Marcus walked beside me, his tablet in hand, whispering, "All regional managers are on a live call. Media's been informed you're inspecting branches quietly." I nodded. Quietly ends today. The glass doors opened. The same scent of polished marble hit me. But this time, the laughter was gone, replaced by whispers. Jessica looked up from her desk, her face draining of color. Tyler froze mid-sentence. Amanda's hand trembled over her keyboard. "Good morning," I said softly. My voice carried across the floor like a memory they wanted to forget. Jessica blinked rapidly. "Miss Washington? Oh my God, we didn't know who I was?" I finished for her. "You didn't need to. You just needed to know how to treat a human being." The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush marble. I walked past them, slowly, deliberately, letting every step echo. At the center of the lobby, I turned. "When I started this bank," I said, "I was a single mother cleaning offices at night. I built this place so no woman, no elderly soul, no struggling person would ever be humiliated for walking through our doors." Jessica swallowed hard. We were just following protocol." "Protocol?" I repeated quietly. "Does protocol require cruelty? Does it demand laughter at pain?" She looked at the floor. I gestured to Marcus. "Play the footage." On the lobby screens, the recordings from their security cameras appeared. The moment Jessica yelled for security, Tyler mocking my voice, Amanda rolling her eyes, and the final shot of me walking out while they laughed. Every employee stopped what they were doing. Even customers froze. Jessica's lips trembled. "Please, Miss Washington." "I had no idea. That's the problem," I said. "You never ask who people are. You just assume who they're not." The branch manager tried to step forward. "Perhaps we can—" I raised my hand. "Enough." Marcus handed me the 3 envelopes. I didn't even need to open them. Jessica Miller, Tyler Johnson, Amanda Foster. Each name fell like a gavel. "You're relieved of your duties. Effective immediately." Jessica burst into tears. "Please!" "I have a child, and so did my mother," I said gently. "When people mocked her for being poor, maybe now you'll teach your child kindness instead of arrogance." Tyler tried to speak, but Marcus was already escorting them out. The guards held the doors open as the same crowd that had laughed 2 days ago now stared in silence. Justice doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. I turned to the remaining staff. "Let this be a reminder. This bank isn't made of marble or glass. It's made of people. You break one spirit and you break everything we stand for." Someone started clapping, then another. Soon the whole lobby was filled with applause, not for power, but for decency. I left quietly after that, but the story didn't. By evening, the footage had gone viral. Homeless woman turns out to be bank owner. CEO tests her own employees. and fires them live. The woman they laughed at trended for 3 straight days. News anchors called me, ruthless yet righteous. Talk shows invited me. Strangers wrote letters saying they cried. But what mattered to me wasn't the fame. It was the flood of old people, single mothers, and veterans who wrote, "Thank you for standing up for us." I kept reading those words until one message stopped me cold. It was from a woman named Lorraine, 84 years old. She wrote, "They laughed at me last year in your Ohio branch when I tried to cash my pension check. I never came back. Thank you for making sure no one else feels that small again." I closed my eyes. That was why I started it all. The next board meeting was different. My executives looked uneasy. Some thought firing 3 employees publicly was too harsh. One of them cleared his throat. "Miss Washington, maybe next time we handle such matters quietly." I leaned forward. "Quiet doesn't teach. Quiet lets rot spread." He went silent. After the meeting, I walked alone on the terrace overlooking the skyline. New York shimmered like a glass cage, beautiful, fragile, and cruel all at once. Marcus joined me. "You did the right thing," he said softly. I smiled faintly. I didn't do it for right or wrong. I did it because I needed to see if kindness still existed. "It almost didn't," he nodded. "But you brought it back." "Maybe, but deep down, I knew how easy it is to lose it again." The following week, I launched a new policy across every branch, the Humanity Clause. Every employee, from guard to CEO, had to attend monthly empathy sessions. Every branch was required to offer hot coffee and water to any visitor, no questions asked. It wasn't charity. It was respect, and for the first time in years, I felt peace. Months passed. Then one afternoon, Marcus entered my office again, hesitant. "Miss Washington," he said, "you might want to see this." He handed me a letter, handwritten, shaky, but familiar. It was from Jessica Miller. She wrote, "I lost my job, my pride, and almost my will. But your words, they changed me. I now volunteer at a shelter. Every time I pour coffee for someone, I remember the day I laughed at you. Thank you for giving me back my soul." Tears filled my eyes. I wasn't expecting redemption. But maybe that's what leadership truly is. Not destroying, but transforming. That night, I visited the same shelter she mentioned. The moment I walked in, I saw Jessica, hair tied back, serving soup to a man in a wheelchair. She looked up, saw me, and froze. I smiled. "Mind if I help?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Please." We served together silently for an hour. No cameras, no headlines, just 2 women trying to fix a piece of the world. When I left, she whispered, "I'll never forget who you are." I turned to her and said, "Then never forget who you were that day, and who you decided to become after." As I stepped outside into the quiet night, the city lights shimmered like 1,000 small chances to be kind. Sometimes life doesn't give you applause for doing the right thing. Sometimes it just gives you peace. And if you ever walk into a bank, a store, or a stranger's path, and you see someone who looks tired, old, or poor, remember my story. Because the person you're judging might be the one who built the floor you're standing on. So the next time you feel like laughing at someone, try listening instead.